Welcome back, my agents, to another episode of The Insured Gamer. We're doing something a little bit different today. We are playing Flight Simulator. I know that I've been doing some Timberborn videos, but really, this is Flight Simulator has been really fun. I did watch the Bethesda like whatever they call it, showcase, if you want to call it that, and that was really cool. I got excited for a lot of games coming out. Of course, Starfield coming out. You've got City Skylines 2 is coming out as well, and then they also kind of sneak peeked of a new Flight Simulator, and so that was exciting to see that Flight Simulator was coming again. And so I got excited to play Flight Simulator, and when I got into it this time, I started looking at gliders and how to glide and what to do, and I found out really quick that it's really hard in real life weather to glide. You know, I used to think that gliding was just where the tow plane would get you up in the air and then the glider would just come down, you know, slowly. But no, in real life, if you hit something that's called a thermal, it will lift you up in the air. And so today, in real life, it was very hard in real weather on Flight Simulator. So today I would like to show you how to do some presets of not live weather, but how to do the presets in order to get the best thermals to lift your glider up. Again, I couldn't do it. It was really hard until I finally figured out the settings to make my glider soar. So we're gonna give you the best settings to fly with the eagles. If this is something you're looking for, please stick around and stay tuned.
You strong.
All right, so something that I'm looking to try and do is go across the country with a glider. That's what I want to do. You've heard of cross-country gliding. That's where they do long stints, but I haven't seen someone go across the country yet. So this is going to be kind of my first leg. I'm doing them in hour sections right here. So KFFA to our Franklin Moonrose, that's KFKN. Then we're also going to go over here to Chase City Moon, KCXE, and then finally our W91, that's Smith Mountain Lake. That's going to be right before we get into some mountains. But each one of these is about an hour leg. So I'm going to kind of go from one to one to see how far I can get before I have to land. And I say have to land. The way we're going to set it up today is I could make that whole run if I wanted to, but that's roughly a 3 hour, if you include trying to get your thermals as well. So let's go ahead and get to our flight to set up these thermals. So if you want to be a part of that flight across the US, it'll probably be the next video. This is going to be a shorter video, just setting up your thermals. So let's get into the flight right before we take off to show you how we set up those thermals. All right, and we're here at the KFFA airport. I think it's some kind of historical site of maybe where one of the first flights happened or something like that. But really today what we're wanting to look at again is those thermals. First thing I'm going to do, turn down this sound. If you are familiar with gliding, that beeping is a good thing. Like, you want to hear that. But for right now, I'm just going to turn that off. Now, there are two, if you want to call them vanilla gliders. This method is going to work with both of them. The first glider has a longer wingspan, but it has a propeller with it that I actually used to use quite a lot because I couldn't get my glider to go up. But finally, when I figured out the settings, I'm using the second glider, which has a lower wingspan, but it's faster, and so I like that. So first thing we're going to do to set up our thermals, again, in real life situations, thermals is a heat source that lifts your glider up. We're wanting to create these because right now, as you can see, there are no clouds in the sky. And typically clouds in the sky means there are thermals in the area, because when you have heat that rises, it gets up high enough and turns into clouds. So let's make some thermals here. First, we're going to go into our weather settings. The two main things to get your thermals is your heat. I'm going to put it up. It's about 100 degrees outside right now, but I'm going to put it up to 140. Again, this is not real life scenario here. I'm just wanting to get it to where I can glide to see to see the land in my glider. So your temperature going to be up all the way, pressure going to be all the way down. Those two things for some reason, make thermals. Temperature up, pressure down. Also, one of the things I'm going to do is don't mess with the humidity, don't mess with anything else, just temperature up, pressure down. I'm going to take the second cloud, the middle cloud right here. I'm going to bring it down to the height of about 12,000. That's where I like my clouds to start, and I'm going to bump that all the way up. We want big puffy clouds. And let's get the coverage. I like my coverage to be about 15%-ish, around that. Density as well, I like them to be pretty dense, around the 2.5-ish. I like them to be pretty dense. Scattered, I like about a 50% scattered. You're going to see that makes some big white puffy clouds over there. That's what we like to see when we're looking at thermals. Altitude's good. We're wanting to show the thermals as well. And we'll see that here populate. Oh, look at that! And you see that temperature and the pressure that created those thermals really nice. What else? Wind. I like to set my wind at about 4. Okay, about 4 wind. Just because that creates some lift as well. If you hit a good pocket of, look at this above us, that's really good. If you hit those really good, it'll just lift you, and you pretty much won't even move, and it'll just lift you straight up. But so I like that 4. All right, so to go over them really quickly again, you're going to click your cloud button. You're going to make sure your temperature's all the way up, 140, pressure all the way down. The middle cloud, you're wanting about 12,000 feet, and then push it all the way up to 60,000. Coverage, 15. Density, 2.5. Scattered, roughly 50%. And the altitude, you just leave those alone. Make sure you show those 3D thermals. All right, let's do this. Let's get up in the air. Now, a big thing when you're getting up here is that you want to let that tow plane get you up into the thermal, or at least the height of the thermal. Down low, if you release too low, you're not going to get that lift. In fact, when I did this video the first time, and I didn't let my tow plane get me up high enough, and I had to start over because I just didn't get up high enough. So just make sure you get up high enough that you can see where those thermals start. Is, I mean, like maybe 500 feet up in the air. I don't know, but let's get up here a little bit, buddy. Come on, there we go. Make sure that tow plane will get you up. You just want to get in that first layer of thermals, not very high up in the air, but you want to make sure that your tow plane can get you up there. So let's get up there. As you can see, our tow plane is getting us up here and very nicely. We're still not quite up. I've come to figure out that when the tow plane, he's going to circle back around to go the opposite direction that we're going from our takeoff. When he does that, that's about the time when you're like, okay, I'm just up in the thermal. Or you can wait, it's going to say, oh, we need to get up to 3,000 feet. You can do that too. But really, I mean, those are some beautiful thermals if our plane will get us up there nicely. And I love it. The random generator, it put a cloud right up underneath this. Again, those clouds are what produce those thermals, or I say produce the thermals, rather the thermals produce the clouds. But clouds are a good indication that a thermal is below it, meaning there's a heat source below it that is pushing that hot air up and producing that clouds. Our plane should start to turn here shortly. It usually turns to the left, I believe. There she goes. So let's get our turn in here. Nice. Now, I am not a pilot. I'm not a glider pilot. I'm just a video gamer who likes playing video games, and I couldn't figure out how to get my glider up there. And now you can see, though, that is a beautiful thermal that we are going to be hitting there. And let's go ahead and detach. And we are going to hit that thermal really nice. Look at that. Let's turn our volume up so we can actually hear the thermal. All right. And listen to that. It's going to start beeping like crazy here. Look at that. So that's what our temperature and our pressure did, was create this huge thermal. Now watch this. This bad boy is just going to lift straight up in the air. We're going to see probably 30 or 3,000 lift down here in the bottom right as our vertical speed. We're probably going to hit about the 3,000 mark. I wouldn't doubt it. You'll see our glider's also turning a little bit. That's the wind, but that's because that thermal is just lifting us straight up. Look at that bad boy. We're hitting that thermal. Beautiful. That's why I like to put the wind in there as well. I mean, look, we're going sideways. That's because our thermal is just pushing us straight up. Make sure you don't stall as well. We hit that 3,000 mark, no problem. And that thermal, that bad boy is just going to push you straight up. So that's how you create thermals in Microsoft Flight Simulator, is making sure you get that heat up, that pressure down. It's going to push that dadgum 4,000 feet per, I think it's per minute maybe, that this thermal is just pushing us. And we could circle around in this thermal until we got all the way up as high as we wanted to. But really this thermal, I mean, that's what gets you. And once you get out of it, you just go to the next cloud. You just soar right to the next cloud, and then that cloud will, more than likely, there will be a thermal underneath the next cloud. It'll just push you right up. So that's how you get your thermals. Again, going over just one more time, and wherever it is, making sure you have your heat up, your pressure down. If we took this heat and we took it all the way down, it got rid of almost got rid of a lot of that thermal. See, we just dropped like crazy. So temperature up, pressure's down. I don't know if you could see, but yeah, the thermals went away when I put that temperature down. But we're good. And again, that pressure being down. And then I think the clouds are kind of an optional thing. Like, I think if we took the clouds away, the thermal would still be there, I think. But make sure you get your clouds in there. You get your wind. I like it at 4. You don't have to do 4, but I like the wind at 4. And there it is. And we got way up there. I think we pushed a good 4,000 feet right there in that one alone. And then when you just sail to the next cloud, do it again. All right, this has been the Insured Gamer again, going over how to get those thermals in Flight Simulator so that you can just fly, absolutely fly. Stick around though. Next video should be the start of my my flight across the U.S. in a glider. Until next time, stay safe out there.